As much as I am kind of grateful that they've spread out the events quite a bit, you know, it's not going to be, we're not going to be dead 3 times a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's a double, you know, it's bittersweet. You know, you got the ups and downs. But regardless, we are going to be jumping into game number 1 of this best of 5 qualifying match here in the top right-hand corner map. Swatting all the way to the top right-hand corner, we have our purple Protoss player coming out from Melbourne. He's going to be representing himself, Clan Dlix, as well as All Mate Chappie. Look at that, he's blazing it. We have the purple Protoss player, Prince Pezz Aperi.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have the Australian Terran player himself representing Opus V, the most recent ANZ champion. It is Piglet.
I don't think chat saw that, but I caught you light. Just as I finished that intro, I caught that little shaky head.
What?
After all the peas.
Sure. I didn't even notice it. Shaking my head. Oh, I'm always disapproving, man. I'm always shaking my head. But here we go. We are in our fresh series, and this is a bit of a rematch because these two did play in ANZ Champs at the very end of last year, and they faced off in the upper semi-finals, where they did have a back and forth, but Piglet did come out on top in a best of 7, 4-2.
Yeah, we were a little bit robbed of this in the Open qualifiers, but now I'm glad that we're able to see it back in here in a best of 5 as well. So not quite a full best of 7, not quite a full series, but still very nice. Still fairly lengthy one.
Exactly, and we'll see how they've adapted to each other as well. Oh boy, because again, Pezz, he can be a very terrifying opponent. We did see him kind of have his way with Azure in the Open qualifiers.
Oh, yeah.
It was not pretty to watch.
3-0, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so arguably we have the best TvP player in the region up against, at this point, I would probably say the best PvT player as well. You know, he's normally known, Pezz, I mean, is normally known a lot more for his PvZ, but he's arguably right now that he's in form, the best Protoss player in ANZ.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. When it comes to the entire region, it's hard to say just because we haven't been able to see Ranger, so we don't know like what exactly he looks like right now. He's a little bit of an enigma.
Well, he drew a Piglet, so
yeah,
it's a pretty good indication, but we're not sure.
Yeah, exactly. So for the time being, anyway, Pezz, you know, we praise him for a reason. So we'll see how this goes here. And so far, pretty standard openers is going for that Twilight Council.
Yeah, nice and versatile. We should be seeing Blink coming up from him pretty soon, especially with that robo facility.
Mate, are you feeling DTs?
I'm kind of feeling DTs a little bit now. Okay.
Okay,
he hesitated a little bit on the upgrades, but no, Pezz hasn't lost his mind yet.
Yeah, I was like, mate, what's going on? Where's the Blink? But there we go. Blink has started. Gateways are being thrown down. Again, kind of what we would expect to see. Meanwhile, Piglet back at home, after being left alone, is setting up for a drop.
Yeah, not quite the typical, well, okay, now it looks to be the typical mine drop. Yeah, there's always an opportunity. There have been a couple of Terran players who have been experimenting with dropping only a single mine, but 6 Marines behind that to try to make sure they get some probe damage done. But yeah, for all, from what Piglet is building right now, if that's any indication, he is just going for that scouting mine drop.
Yeah, here we go. So again, this isn't entirely committed. If it deals damage, that's great. But it's not like 4 Widow Mines. There's no armory behind it or anything like that. And again, it is also designed to scout your opponent to see if they threw down any additional tech structures. Maybe there was a Dark Shrine. Maybe there was a transition into a Stargate or even more gateways, or maybe even, you know, a lack of gas.
That's a pretty healthy gateway count for now, by the way. So Piglet, it's really important that he scouts this. He knows that Blink is researching right now. And he does still want to get probe damage.
I love Piglet's Widowmine drops, mate. Like, he is so adamant about making sure he actually gets a juicy connection.
It doesn't quite get him. But he keeps one of the mines alive, and he can come back later on. It's going to be really tough, though, considering how much health that medevac doesn't have.
Yeah, 14 HP. In the end, he only gets 2 wood mines, but he does force a lot of lost mining time there as he was retargeting and he was consistently unbarring those mines. But now Pezz has Blink, and now he can go across the map.
Yeah, start being a little bit annoying. He, shouldn't be able to cripple the economy of Piglet just yet, but he can distract him. He can apply a lot of pressure, contain him on these 2 bases, and best case scenario, mess up the timing on some of his upgrades.
And we'll see what he's going to be able to accomplish as Pezz actually moves out to the middle and then just turns around, so it doesn't quite check the front of the base or anything like that, or even risk maybe even blinking to the main. I think he's just more concerned with establishing his own base, his own third.
Yeah, I guess he has a pretty good inkling of how Piglet likes to play this out. He is working on the assumption that a 2-base timing is coming his way, and his assumption would be right.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about Piglet, is that he has been switching up his style. I think for a long time, for actually a couple of years, he was known to be just a turtling Terran. He would just stay at home until max and then push out. And he still does that every now and then, don't get me wrong. But he has been, switching things up.
Those were the dark ages, man.
They were very dark. I dreaded every time. Every time we casted him.
Especially in the TvZ, where every single game was 40-minute long net games.
Yeah, oh my god. Thankfully, we have avoided his TvZs this season, so we haven't had to succumb to any of that, not yet. But here we go, he is pushing out. Not just with this small army, but we do have a couple of medevacs coming in from behind to meet up with this.
Yeah, so there's definitely quite a lot of sustainability and staying power here with this push, but, at this point the gateways have finished up, charge is about to finish as well, so, yeah, it shouldn't be too difficult for Pezz to defend.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, when mine shot does not get baited out, auto targets are being thrown down as well, tank not quite in range of the pylon. Oh, the shield battery gets focused down!
Very nice target firing, and despite all of the production facilities that Pezz has, doesn't quite have enough income to warp in as much as he'd like to. He does have a decent defensive force now, though, and that is enough of a deterrent for Piglet. If Piglet wanted to, he could have tried to target down the Nexus, but he would have been sacrificing his entire army to do so.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been the wisest choice. Meanwhile, the tank in the retreat is going to get taken out. So a nice pickup here by Pezz, taking down that tank.
Yeah, getting the tank counts down is always very, very valuable here when you are playing more of a swarm toss style, at least. Well, it depends on what kind of swarm toss, I suppose. If it's chargelets, then taking out the tanks isn't as valuable, but you still want to have something to. You still want to make sure that your stalkers are secure.
Yeah, that's something that we should really emphasize, is that this game Pezz has avoided splash damage. He hasn't gone for a robotic spay, he's not going for Colossus or disruptors. Instead, he's going mass charge lot with some storm to help kind of round that out. So we do have the Templar archives on the way. He's not neglecting that, he's not just going mass gateway units.
Yeah, it's just going to take him a little bit longer to get to that point. And he's making sure that, Piglet isn't able to take advantage of this. A Protoss player without Colossus or Archons or Disruptors or Storm, his might as well be a dead Protoss player,
Yeah, they can be quite vulnerable, and I do like this from Pezz. He's actually looking to catch up in that respect. We do have a robotic spay, as well as a second robo on the way, so he is going to catch up, is going to go immediately into double robo production, to get into those Colossus, I imagine. So yeah, there is a period here where he's a little bit vulnerable, but soon he will have the AoE.
Yeah, this is time that Piglet is not wasting either, though, which can definitely be worrisome for Pezz. I do feel like Piglet definitely shines quite a bit in the late game, in his late game control in this matchup. Ghosts are coming out, doesn't quite have enhanced shockwaves yet, but he is building up a pretty terrifying Terran late game army.
Yeah, like this is the Piglet I love watching, by the way. It's very Beyond-esque. He doesn't really rely too much on tanks, he doesn't rely too much on widow mines. It's just pure bio with ghosts, and the ghost, that's his splash damage. EMPs, that's what he relies on, as well as microing and like EMPing. Sorry, I say EMPing and disabling with his Raven. Oh.
Ooh, Blink a little bit miscalculated there for Pezz, and so, yeah, the entire army gets coated in that anti-armor missile. Even disables the Disruptor? Yeah, the Disruptor! Yeah,
he does disable the Disruptor, but the second one comes out!
But it doesn't quite get anything with that Purification Nova. The second Disruptor, Pezz has got to be very, very careful. He doesn't want to whiff the Purification Nova. But at the same time, Pezz doesn't want to risk his army unnecessarily either. Or Piglet doesn't want to.
Yeah, I mean, Pezz, he is forced to cancel his his fifth base here. Bearing in mind that was a fifth, so it is kind of acceptable for him to lose that there. Oh, and Piglet is forced back.
Yeah, I'm liking this for Piglet. You know, not sacrificing too much for too little. He gets a little bit of damage done, but he doesn't lose anything either.
Yeah, the other crucial thing is that he kept the Raven alive, so being able to disable or use any of its spells will be available next. And yo, the wave of ghosts is here, the EMPs!
Yeah, all this damage is gonna stack up. Piglet very, very close to maxing out. Pezz still needs quite a bit of time before that happens. Enhanced Shockwaves has finished, but you know, +2 is not done just yet. We do have a decent number of Liberators over here.
Yeah, that we do. Again, he's transitioning very nicely against this ground focus army of Pezz. Meanwhile, his army, the Pathing.
And the Purification Nova doesn't quite get much either. I think I got a Ghost, which is nice, but yeah, not entirely worth it. Pezz blinks on forward, but he will get anti-armor to oblivion. Disruptors get taken out before the Purification Novas can connect. And look at this splitting coming out from Piglet. Barely allowing any of these Novas to connect. Now, he doesn't want to push into that overcharged battery, but he has backed Pezz so far up against the wall.
Yeah, exactly. He was almost able to break through the defenses of Pezz, but the overcharge does barely keep him alive. Regardless, he did take down, how many was that? 4 disruptors have gone down this game. The splits were amazing. The focus fire was insane. And this is why, again, like, you know, Piglet, he's kind of like the Beyond of our region, you know, like, but at the same time, you know, yeah, when it works, it works. When it doesn't, like, sometimes he takes a little bit too much of a risk and, you know, a Nova can go off. Like, it's just very risky play.
Yeah, he's really at 2 extremes, isn't he, Piglet? He's either the most cautious player in the world, or he is the most he is the riskiest player in the world. He is the player who throws all caution to the wind. He is able to bait on a Purification Nova, and yeah, as you were mentioning earlier on, Pezz just doesn't have that many disruptors left. He only has a single Colossus too.
Yeah, a lot of this is because Pezz did prioritize Disruptors instead of Colossus, so he hasn't had consistent splash damage or just consistent damage, period. He's been relying a lot on these Novas, and they just haven't been connecting. Oh! Yeah,
not quite. A lot of these ghosts are exposed, though. And Piglet needs to make a choice. Does he go for the counter attack, or does he go for the retreat?
Oh my god! The Nova goes off, mate. Every single ghost is being picked apart here by Pezz. He catches the army off guard. Unfortunately, Piglet, he was in the middle of trying to go for a multi-prong attack, and he just gets shut down.
Yeah, that army is now idle in the middle of the map, and man, imagine if that army was here to fight. Would have been a completely different story. Piglet loses a lot of army, but now he's starting to work on a surround. Nice split. He does lose a couple of units, but not as many as he could have.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, Pezz gets surrounded, and then Piglet gets surrounded as well by some reinforcing zealots. It looks like it may just barely be enough. Somehow, someway, that Colossus survived.
Oh, man, and that medevac full of units gets completely taken out. It looks like Pezz is finally turning this game around on its head. But there are a lot of reinforcements here. Reminder to everybody watching right now, Piglet has had a very stable 4-base economy for very, very long. And he has been producing a lot of barracks. He has been producing out of every single one of them, too.
Yeah, it looks like Pezz has run out of steam. Unfortunately, Pezz just doesn't have a War Prism with this army, so he just can't reinforce in the middle of a fight. He has to warp in all the way at home just like this and slowly waddle everything here. So because of that, Piglet, he survives. He has the moment to breathe here. And Pezz, yeah, there we go. War Prism speed is on the way. He wants to get some War Prisms out.
Yeah, that's what he needs more than anything right now. Pezz trying to attack into the Planetary Fortress, and he should have enough zealots to overwhelm, but he is also leaving himself a little bit vulnerable right now. Piglet being very, very careful to avoid that Nova, but now Pezz just backs away, and Piglet is forced to mine from an orbital command, which is much, much more vulnerable.
Yeah, thankfully, you know, he is able to replace the base nonetheless, so his economy isn't going to be so impacted by the death of that planetary. But the thing I'm worried most about is that where are the sensor towers? You know, we don't really have any covering these bases, so Pezz, at the moment, Piglet doesn't really have eyes on where he is.
Yeah, he's feeling completely blind right now, but now he's a little bit aware. Pezz is maxed out, though. There's a lot of potential for this Terran army, especially if he nails the EMPs, but that's a pretty big if at this point. Piglet going for a pseudo surround. Purification Nova lands on so much bio. GG is called, and Pezz takes game number 1. Oh man, it looked so shaky for a while, but yeah,
Yeah,
in the end, he
GG. I
was able
mean,
to turn it around.
yeah, I mean, we saw that timing that Piglet hit where he was pushing into the natural base and Pezz only had a single disruptor left. That was the moment where like almost every single other one was focused down, right? That was the moment for Piglet to take the game. And after that, Pezz, he was expanding, his economy was insane, he had 80 plus probes, like he just had to buy a little bit more time, survive until he gets his Colossus, until he's able to rebuild his army, and Piglet was just a little bit too committed there. And there was also that fight at the Watchtower, which it's a little bit monk-ass.
Yeah. Definitely, where the army was kind of idle in the middle of the map. I do kind of feel like Piglet this game was, I don't know, not feeling too confident. There were plenty of moments where I definitely felt like if he went for the throat, he could have evaporated the Protoss army, kept going all the way, and eventually won the game. But instead, he just picked off a couple of Protoss units and then backed away. And then he picked off a couple more Protoss units and then backed away. And then picked off a couple more units. And like you were saying, Pezz had a very stable 4-base economy, eventually a 5-base economy, so these were losses that Pezz could absolutely afford.
Yeah, he really could, and now he was able to take game number 1. We're diving into game number 2, but as a bit of an update, I did just notice in game, oh my god, the upper qualifying match has ended. Ranger takes down Demi 3-1.
That is absolutely insane, dude. That is just... It really goes to show that Ranger is back in form, and I guess we'll be able to talk a little bit about it as we continue, because for now, we are on Blackbird LE. We're in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We, of course, have a purple Protoss player coming out from the land of Melbourne, representing himself, Clan Dlix, Old Mate Chase, and Old Mate Chappie. He is the purple Protoss player, Pezz.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Blackburn LE, we have the Australian Terran player himself representing Opus V. Despite being the most recent ANZ champ, currently down in this series, but still plenty of room to come back. It is Piglet.
Wow. This bracket has just been insane today.
It really has been. All expectations out the window, mate. Who knows what the hell is gonna go on? I think Raza and Risky are still mid-series, so we're not quite certain what's happening there. But
40-minute mech games. 3 in a row. Oh no, it did just finish up. Risky has taken out Raza 2-1 and is now up against Demi in the other qualifying match.
Oh, that is surprising. Raza, the more active player, going down to Risky? That's insane.
Yeah, that's, yeah. But once again, we're throwing all expectations out the window today.
True. So I guess that falls in line with what we should expect, I guess, question mark. Yeah. So that does mean that the other lower qualifying match, the only other series ongoing right now, is Risky versus Demi.
I wonder if this trend of throwing away expectations is going to continue for the other qualifier slide. I hope they do. I certainly hope so.
Oh my god. Yeah, they started off in the morning. I think the biggest one in the morning was M. Canning took down Future in the NA qualifiers. We were like, what?
I didn't get to watch. I didn't get to watch that, but I saw the result and I thought, really? He qualified from the upper bracket? Because, you know, M. Canning, there's always a good chance for him to qualify for the main event. There are a lot of spots there, but to qualify first?
Yeah.
Dude.
Crazy.
Captain America. He's in here.
Captain America, let's go. Meanwhile, we are getting into this game, and once again, Pezz opens with Twilight Council.
Yeah, just keeping his options open. Are we feeling DTs on Blackburn, though?
I don't know if Pezz has to take that risk. I don't know about that, mate.
Definitely doesn't.
Yeah. It would be nice, don't get me wrong. But we'll see, as Piglet is a little bit paranoid as he's scouting around the edges of the map.
And I do think Stalkers are, you know, as much as they usually are the safe choice, they are even better on Blackburn just because the Terran player does want to utilize that quick air rush distance more often than not.
They usually do, as Blink is on the way, so very similar or exact same opener as we had in game number 1. Piglet also going for a bit of a mine drop here as well, as the medevac is on the way. Until then, the mines are going to want to be borrowing just in case an Oracle comes across the map, as Piglet hasn't been able to see what kind of tech Pezz went for.
Yeah, pretty crucial right now for Pezz to hide everything. I guess not super crucial, but it's always nice to be able to keep your turn opponent guessing. It's always nice to try to make sure that they're never comfortable enough to get into their build, get into their game.
Yeah, exactly. As Piglet, he comes across the map with said drop. He's going to be able to bob and weave and head towards the natural base. There are stalkers waiting, but we should be able to see a burrow.
I like this from Piglet, you know. Pezz wasn't expecting Piglet to come in straight from the natural base, and he's really trying to get some damage done. Maybe this one! Oh, very good split right at the end there for Pezz. That was scary for a while.
Yeah, meanwhile, the first one on my shot already went off. There we go, 1 for 1. Nothing crazy happening here. Just a single probe for a single mine.
Yeah, and this was not the most committed mine drop coming out here for Piglet. He already... the mission has already been accomplished for this mine drop. He was able to scout the tech that Pezz was going for. These additional probe kills are just a nice bonus.
Exactly. Just making sure everything is on the up and up on the other side of the map. And I'm sure Piglet, he's like, okay, we're good. Nothing crazy is going on. I can get into my game. And this is where I worry a little bit more for Pezz, because we saw how aggressive Piglet can be, especially with his ghost timing. And like that's going to hit that much more harder on a map like Blackburn. I feel like Pezz is going to have to be the one to switch things up a little bit.
Yeah, for the longest time, I've been calling Blackburn the Marine tank push map. The 2-base tank push map, because that's kind of what the map itself lends itself to because of the layout. It really doesn't take much to send them across the middle pathway.
Yeah,
establish a foothold and keep reinforcing.
It's terrifying. It's terrifying. But we'll see where we go here, because Pezz is actually getting double forge right now, so he's going to be working on melee and armor upgrades for his mass gateway army. Charges on the way as well, which we have a couple more gates being thrown down. So for the time being, he's just relying on gateway units.
Yeah, another pseudo swarm toss style, at least for the early game. Wouldn't be too surprised if Pezz techs up eventually, but for now he's going to be relying solely on charge lots, sentries, and stalkers.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you can find a lot of success with that. I think that may just work better a little bit against Piglet specifically, just because he's so great at target firing and focusing down things like Colossus, splitting against disruptors, and maybe having a harder time against, mass zealots and stalkers.
Yeah, Piglet definitely a positional genius. He knows how to position his army to deal against Colossus, if you were saying, carries and whatnot. What happens when the swarm toss when the chargers come in and say, screw your position, I'm taking your position now.
Oh god. Meanwhile, we actually don't really have that much here to work with for Pezz. We do have a shield battery, we do have the overcharge, auto tower gets thrown down, but the Raven gets focused!
And it does get taken out. I do like these force fields here for Pezz. He was able to split up the army a little bit, but now Piglet is starting to move in, but I think he's bled out enough that Pezz can just keep this going. The shield battery did get taken out, but we have an immortal out. Guardian Shell being popped a little prematurely, though.
It really is. Meanwhile, 1-1 is still not done here for Pezz. Is he going to have enough to hold on here? Piglet, he's got a choice, and instead he goes straight into the natural.
IMO, the right choice to make here for Piglet. This army might go down. He can always pick up if need be, but yeah, he will get a decent number of probe kills over here, and he can just go between the third and the natural. The TVZ. Yeah,
exactly. Pezz is caught between two bases. Meanwhile, Widowmine shots do go off on the majority of the Zealots, but the tank is left completely exposed.
Yeah, it will get taken out, but of course the main units right now for Piglet is the bio. He is able to kill 9 probes, which is very nicely done. He takes out a pylon, and now he backs away. Pezz wants to commit, though!
Oh god!
One more blink is all he needs, but he's not gonna get it.
Yeah, unfortunately he already blinked to jump on the army, but you know what? He's trying to chase this down. He's
anticipating, but he anticipated wrong.
Yeah, hoping that maybe Piglet had stopped here in the center of the map to try and unload, but you know what? Pezz is not stopping. He's going across the map.
And the defenses are not ready whatsoever for Piglet. He still needs to unload his units, and he has. So yeah, I don't imagine Pezz getting too much more damage done from here, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, the SimCity is working pretty well here for Piglet. He's buying a lot of time. The first bunker will complete, but Pezz doesn't care. He's zoning him away from the bunker.
And he's pinning the bio to a corner, but he's not quite able to take full advantage of that. Now, the Zealots have been dealt with, and it is only Stalkers and Immortals. One good concave is all Piglet really needs. Pezz has recognized that, and he recalls away. But not before taking out 14 SCVs. Whatever damage Piglet dealt earlier on has been neutralized.
Yeah, that's the scary thing about Pezz's style, is that he didn't really lose any high-tech units. Looking at the units lost tab, he lost 21 Zealots. You know, like, he can afford to lose all this. Meanwhile, he was the one who was able to deal that economic damage. He killed the tanks, he killed the Widow Mines as well, was able to snipe a couple of those medevacs. And Pezz is not going to stop because he's getting the gold.
Exactly. Losing 21 Zealots can hurt because, you know, that's 2,100 minerals. It does stack up, but that's why Pezz is going for the gold base, man. That's why he's feeling confident enough to lose all of those Zealots.
Exactly. Meanwhile, he has to be careful. We did see a massive EMP on the front of that army, but Pezz still has that high ground. Instead, Piglet rotating around could even hit that gold base from behind. But he goes up!
Yeah, trying to fight the army. He does have a couple of ghosts out right now, which is invaluable right now to fighting a Protoss army. But like you were saying, as all of this was going on, Pezz got the gold base up and running. He's still mining from it. Yeah. He's fine.
I'm honestly surprised. Like, I thought Piglet was going to go towards the north and hit this base, but if we look at his vision, he doesn't know. He doesn't know that the gold is being taken.
Not at all, and this is terrifying, man. We saw on 2,000 Atmospheres, it was 2,000, yeah, in 2,000 Atmospheres, what Pezz is really capable of when he has a solid, economy, and now it's not just solid, it's explosive.
Oh boy, yeah, we'll see if it's going to be enough here as he's trying to get around said army. There is one liberated in the backline. EMP does connect with the Stalkers.
Yeah, so already a pretty good start for Piglet. He was able to take out the Nexus as well, so no matter what, he's already gotten damage done. He may lose the entire army though, which is a terrifying prospect.
But you know what? The Marauders have survived. They focused on every single one of these Immortals. Pezz just traded a little bit too inefficiently there. I mean, he had a great arc on the army, but the EMPs were insane.
They absolutely were. Marauders the absolute MVPs in this engagement, and Piglet, he's going to keep up the pressure. Pezz trying to get a backup fourth base. It is just going to be a normal fourth though.
God, yeah, he does expand towards his opponent. He's forced to anyway, and I don't know if Pezz is going to really have enough here to defend, just because Piglet, all he needs are maybe 2 solid EMPs, and he can just pounce on this army. Pretty much.
Pezz really needs to sell story right now. He needs to make himself look bigger than he actually is, because otherwise Piglet is just going to pounce on this and take the game, and he is not falling for the bait. He EMPs everything, and he stands and delivers.
Wow, just like that, he annihilates the army of Pezz. GG gets called, and Piglet ties up the series 1-1.
Nicely done. We are tied up, like you said. I was really worried we would get another clean sweep here for one of our players, but that is not the case at all. We're going to game number 3, and it is still up in the air.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, a map like Blackburn is it can be a little bit more difficult just because of that short rush distance, and ground-based attacks do hit that much harder. You could also say the same for Pezz though, and I guess that's why he was going or trying to go for that swarm toss style, but he never really got his economy really rolling to the point where he would overwhelm the army of Piglet.
Yeah, this style of Protoss needs a lot of time to get off the ground, so to speak. You know, you need a solid runway, and that takes time. We saw even in game number 1 in Glittering Ashes, there were many different moments where Pezz was so vulnerable to a big bio counterattack. But Piglet wasn't really aware of that then. He is well aware of that now, though, if Blackburn is any indication, and that may be an indication for how the rest of the series is going to go.
Yeah, we'll see, because again, like, I don't know, especially on a map like Glittering Ashes, like, Pezz may decide to switch things up. We could see a Stargate opener from him instead. We could see an investment into Phoenixes just to gain that map control as well.
Pezz with the banter coming in right now. So we have just been informed that Piglet is going for a little bio break. Pezz, I hope they take a break in game 2.
Ay, ay, ay. I believe, Pezz. I believe you can do it, Papi. You can do it. But yeah, I do appreciate that so far this series has gone a little bit back and forth. I hope that continues here. I would love to see an ace match between these two. Hopefully not too one-sided.
I'm just grateful that we don't see any turtle games yet.
I don't think we're gonna see that. I don't think so.
It's TvP.
Fingers crossed, mate. Fingers crossed.
Like so.
But yeah, I guess while we wait, the other match is still ongoing. Demi is mid-series against Risky. I'll be honest, I doubt their series is going to take that long. It is a ZVZ.
It's a ZVZ, yeah. It's a ZVZ between Demi. And like involving Demi alone in a ZVZ, that is an indication it's going to be quick. Demi versus Risky, yeah, that's that's going to be a quick one.
Yeah, but like along the side, along the lines of all the upsets we've been getting recently, I'd be shocked if Risky ends up like qualifying, not gonna lie.
That's because, why it's gonna happen now.
Yeah, because like
that's why it's gonna happen now.
Literally,
aren't expecting it.
Yeah, he has been MIA for a long time. He didn't even participate. I don't think he participated in DreamHack Winter, right? I don't think he was.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he just wasn't a part of it. Period.
Literally no Kiwis in Winter.
Yeah, but I mean, again, he's here just because of his overall yearly results, right, from 2021. So yeah, it'd be crazy to see him in the main event again, after such a long time.
Yeah, I guess it just goes to show you that Risky is one of those players who can pop off when he needs to. That's why, like you were saying, he wasn't as active last year as he was in 2020 or 2019, but because he did so well when he was competing, he's still able to get an invite to the close qualifiers. And you know, if he even in the past couple of days has decided, you know what, why don't I practice a bit more seriously, I wouldn't be too surprised if he's able to qualify. But again, that'd be a very tough nut to crack. All right, anyway, we are going to be jumping into our continuing our series now on Glittering Ashes LE. We're of course in the bottom left-hand corner map, starting all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We have our purple Protoss player coming down from the land of Melbourne, killing the bots. He is going to be representing himself, as well as old mate Chappie here. Look at him blazing it over on Clan Delicts. We have Pezz out there.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Glittering Ashes LE, we have the Australian Terran player himself representing Opus V, tying up the series 1-1. But it's still a best of 5. There are still plenty more matches to go. It is Piglet.
And my eyes are definitely on him right now. Again, it just feels like Piglet has figured out how to adapt against the Swarm Toss style that Pezz is going for. We'll see if Pezz also decides to switch things up, but I have my doubts. I feel like it's a bit more on Piglet to adapt to Pezz than the other way around.
Yeah, like it's a difficult call to make, because if we think about like the way that Piglet plays, like especially in the mid game, if Pezz were to prioritize and get disruptors faster, I don't know if that's necessarily the answer, just because of how good Piglet is at like splitting and just avoiding purification overs. So like I don't know if that's necessarily the best choice. So maybe the answer is to go into faster Colossus. But if you go into that, you know, Piglet time and time again, we've seen him go or transition really well into Vikings and being able to outposition you as well. Like it can be difficult relying on these like high impact units as a Protoss player when your opponent is just so damn good, you know? So damn good at like avoiding them or focusing them down.
And so we'll just have to wait and see what Pezz decides to throw Piglet's way. As for now, things are just being very, very standard. I'm a little bit surprised that we haven't seen a 3 racks come out yet from Piglet in this series.
Yeah, I think maybe he's done that before. I'm sure at some point he has.
Proxy. Yeah, he's done proxy 3 racks before.
Yeah. Maybe he's saving that for later.
True. Or he's really desperate.
yeah, you know, mate, it's a long series. You know, we've got plenty of games ahead of us. So far, the Reaper has been zoned out. You know, Pezz doing a decent job keeping up with the Reaper with his Stalker. But again, he's not really hiding much. It is, once again, the Twilight Council.
And just a 1-1-1 coming out from Piglet. How are we feeling the DTs now, Light?
I don't know, man. I don't think so. I'm not feeling it. I mean, we do have Blink on the way, but yeah, on a large map like this, unless it's proxied, I don't think it's the best idea. But you know, Piglet is also, you know, scouring the edges of the map just in case that is happening.
Always want to be mindful for that. Speaking of being mindful, it appears that Pezz has not gotten his RoA facility this time. So he is saving up minerals for something. Yeah, he hasn't gone for it quite yet. Meanwhile, Piglet, of course, is still going for his drop, as he always has been. We still haven't seen any amazing Widowmine shots, and we'll see if that continues to be the case. We'll see. Yeah, but you gotta appreciate how active Piglet is with those mine drops, regardless. Eventually, it's gonna get a big cloud of probes.
I mean, I hope that's not how it ends, okay? We've seen that before.
See it at least once.
Like, where one massive shot goes off and then suddenly the Protoss just GG's instantly. Yeah. I mean, that would be an amazing way to qualify.
Exactly. That's why I want to see it at least once in the specified series. Hopefully it's not the end of the series, but yeah, sometime in the middle. Alright, he's gonna drop! I was a little bit worried about SimCity here for Pezz potentially working against his favor, you know, funneling these probes into a position, but he is able to evacuate. There is some lost mining time, but not the biggest of deals. Behind all of this, Piglet does confirm we got a double forge on the way. It should be charge.
Yeah, exactly. As you were saying, there was no robo. Why was there no robo? Because all of our gas is going to be spent on 1-1 upgrades. Once again, Pezz going for the mass swarm toss style. And Yaku, I got some news for you, buddy.
Oh boy.
Mate, the impossible is a reality. We just got confirmation by our lovely admin. Risky 1-3-0.
Yo! We finally got some Kiwis back.
Oh my god.
I missed them so much.
He's back. He made it through. He is going to be a part of the main event for DreamHack Valencia.
Good.
What is happening today? What is happening today?
And so now that means Demi isn't going to be there.
Yeah.
More importantly.
Yeah, Demi's been eliminated. There will be.
And so now we are just. Yeah, so now we're just determining our final player to qualify. It's either going to be Piglet or Pezz.
Exactly. This is going to be the final series of the night for DreamHack Oceania, and we'll see which way it goes. Meanwhile, Charge is still on the way alongside all of these upgrades. Piglet soon ready to move out here, just waiting for another round of medevacs. Boy.
It's starting to push it. This is a very potent timing right now coming out for Piglet, but there is a lot that Pezz can do to buy himself some more time. He needs Charge to finish up, and he is warping him back home. So his defenses should be looking decent. Yeah,
it's going to be a tight defense, mate. Like, Stim and Combat Shields just finished up. Piglet, he is just running across the map right now. He wants to hit that third base, at least the third. Meanwhile, Pezz working on his fourth, is warping in his massive amount of zealots, as many as he can.
And he's trying to catch this in the middle of the map. He wants to surround the army in the open ground as much as possible.
Oh my god!
Piglet's pulling the boys! Very nice mine shot on top of those stalkers, but yeah, let's see how much further Piglet can do. He's not just pulling the boys, he's pulling every single boy, pulling a Skylar right now.
Let's go, the boys are here. They do get scouted by Pezz. He has to be so careful how he engages, and again, because this is happening, don't be too afraid to pull your own boys. Just...
Yeah.
Oh god.
It's a very high strategy.
It really is. It really is. Meanwhile, here we go. Piglet, he's coming in. Oh, the Raven gets caught out!
Yeah, it is able to throw down a couple of auto turrets, but yeah, not the most ideal use of the Raven right now. The SCVs trying to figure out if it can get damage done. They are acting as such a good buffer against the Zealots. The Zealots are starting to fall. And Piglet has lost his buffer, but now he has dealt with the Zealots. He is pushing on forward. He needs to kill everything right now. He needs to kill the army. He needs to kill the bases, and he's doing it!
He will. Yeah, he will. Again, I was talking about it before. Pezz, he needed to either pull his workers or try and force field or maybe try and slow down the army, take it down in segments, in chunks. Instead, he just went straight on forward for the entire thing, and Piglet, he's pushing on forward. He's breaking through.
Yeah, and even with the warp-ins, I'm not entirely convinced Pezz is going to have enough to deal with the army. We're at 65 army supply for Piglet and 26 for Pezz, and a lot of that 26% is in Stalkers. They are very, very vulnerable. Zealot's getting split up, only fighting a little bit of the army at a time.
The tank is barely alive. It's dishing out as much damage as possible. It's almost at it. Finally gets taken down.
But it's too little, too late. GG. Piglet takes that game, and now it has the advantage moving forward. This may be the only expected result.
Oh my god. GG, well played. Pezz, he was looking for a longer game. He had a 4th base, for Christ's sake. 4th base against a 2-basing Terran. That's how far ahead he was thinking.
Yep.
Little did he know there was a 2-base all-in coming across the map. He did scout it as the SCVs revealed themselves, trying to focus down those rocks. But again, he had only a couple of seconds to really respond and prepare.
Yeah, that's kind of the issue with Pezz's... Again, the issue with Pezz's style right now is that he's thinking way too far into the future. He's looking at the horizon, ships on the horizon. He doesn't see the Piglet right in front of him. That's charging right at him, underneath him. You know, Piglet. God. He's looking up. He's thinking, "What is going on?" Piglet, he's going straight for the legs.
There you go, Pezz. His head is in the clouds right now, and he's gotta bring himself down to reality and face the music. Oh boy.
Quick question here: was it a 3-0, or did Risky or did Demi forfeit? Because I'm looking at the bracket right now.
The games were played out. The games were played.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Can confirm.
Yeah, that did just get updated right now. So yep, we're played out, and yeah, it looks like Risky's back in form coming into the regional.
Yeah. For the most part, I mean, he did come in through that lower bracket, and we didn't get to see the games. We didn't get to see how he made it through, but it's just, what a world we're living in right now. Ranger popping off, Ender popping off, Piglet as well, like, or Risky as well.
Sea rising.
The sea is. It's been a while since you said that, Yaku. The sea is rising. You're not wrong.
Thanks, global warming.
All right, here we go. Potentially the final game. Our players are ready.
What was that name of that team during ANZ Pro League, where it was Risky, Ender, Whisk, and all the other Sea Outcasts?
You just said it. Sea Outcasts.
Yeah, it's a bit of a return for the Outcasts.
Oh god.
I'm not sure if Ranger was part of Sea Outcasts. I think it was in Team Malaysia.
Yeah, that was a Malaysian team.
Yeah.
Team.
But still, I think Piglet might have been on Sea Outcast. No, Piglet was on Downfall at the time, wasn't he?
On Legacy, mate.
He was on Legacy. That's what it was. That's what happens when I try to think back from events that happened like 5 years ago. Anyway, we are going to be continuing our qualifying match right now on Hotwire LE. We're in the top right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the top right-hand corner. Of course, have our purple Protoss player coming out from the land of Melbourne, and he had honestly, a very good response against the style that Piglet typically likes to play. But it's kind of been figured out in the middle of the series. Let's hope he has something else up his sleeve, because otherwise he's going to get eliminated straight out. He is representing himself, and old mate Chappie blazing it. He is Pezz.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Hardwire LE, we have the Australian Terran player himself, the most recent ANZ champs, going for a massive 2-base all-in the previous game, and now only 1 game away from qualifying for DreamHack Valencia. It is Piglet.
Un momento, por favor. more is all he needs. Un o más.
Yeah, just needs one more, mate. Meanwhile, Pezz, thankfully, you know, he's not too far down. He doesn't have to reverse sweep or anything crazy like that. Just needs one more to bring it to the ace match.
Yeah, and then from there, one more for either player, really.
Yeah. My question to you, Yaku, is, do you think...
Am I feeling the DT cell?
No, do you think Pezz should switch things up to, like, the overall, like, style that he's going for? Because he's been trying it game after game, with mixed results.
Yeah, I mean, you were kind of alluding to it in the previous game, where Piglet is one of the more reactive Terran players in the region, so all he really needs to do is scout what Pezz is going for, and I'm sure he will have a response to it. So it's a tough call to make right now for Pezz. I'm sure he has been practicing the Swarm Toss style quite a bit, and it's what he's comfortable in PvT, but yeah, I do feel like switching styles right now might not be this... I don't know, it would be a smart idea for him to switch styles, but the question is, can he execute it well enough? Because I'm not entirely sure if that's how he's been practicing, you know, in the lead up to this event. Now, I'm sure Pezz as well was hoping that he would be facing Starduck instead of Piglet right now. And so we're only two Terran players in the close qualifiers. Everybody else was either Zerg or Protoss.
Yeah, I think I should remind everyone and remind myself as well that the reason why Pezz started playing Terran was because of PvT.
Exactly, yeah.
Specifically, that is why he switched, because
unwinnable,
you know, PvT unwinnable, mate. PvT unwinnable. It's a difficult matchup. Oh boy, so hopefully he's gonna be able to recover here as the Reaper tries to sneak on in, goes into the main base, will confirm the Twilight Council, and this time no double forge.
Yeah, he knows that it's nice and standard coming out from him with a Robo facility this time instead of a double forge. Blink on the way, it's what we're kind of used to here. Openings have been pretty much the same throughout this entire series. It's just that we've had little slight variations here and there.
Yeah, exactly. This is a little bit less risky from Pezz, a bit more safe and standard. Because of this, like, he can go into Robotics Bay sooner rather than later to get into that splash damage. But Piglet's actually switching things up.
Okay, then. Pulling a little bit of a beyond on us, going for starting off with Cloak Banshee, but this does delay the Raven by quite a bit. So I feel like this might be an indication that Piglet isn't going to be going for a strong two-base push. He is going to be playing a little bit more passive. He's going to be focusing a bit more on trying to get a third base up and running.
Oh. He is. Meanwhile, the Wood Mines are dropped here. Looks like one Stalker will go down, and here in the main base,
one probe will go down. But Piglet does confirm the Robo Bay coming out from Pezz. We kind of gloss over it, but yeah, this is Pezz playing very differently from previously.
Yeah, I kind of like this, but I'm still concerned. So Pezz is going straight into splash damage here instead. So as you were saying, completely switching gears to what we've seen from him this entire series, which I think is necessary. I think, you know, he realizes, like, what I'm doing it's not working. It's just not working. I need to do something different here if I want to come back. So thankfully he's not too stubborn. But as you said, we'll see how good the execution is.
Yeah, Cloak is finished up right now for this Banshee, but there are shield batteries in most of the mineral lines, so it's not going to be able to really take out too much. No, actually, the shield batteries are being produced only in the main and the third.
Yeah, exactly. The natural mineral line is looking pretty exposed here. In comes that Banshee, and probes are falling. Thankfully, there is detection here in the main base, so only loses 3.
So far. 4 go down. At the cost of 1 Banshee, that's all right, but now another Banshee is coming in, and it's not going to have a partner, it's just sad.
Yeah, no one-shot potential, unfortunately, for this Banshee. But at the third base, shield battery finishes up, so all these probes should be safe.
Yeah, Piglet doesn't want to reveal his hand. He backs away and decides, you know what, I can either go in later on with the Banshee, or I can use it to help me when I eventually push.
Yeah, we'll see if that eventuality does come out. Meanwhile, we do have a third CC here for Piglet, so no 2-base all in. We're not going to be seeing boys being pulled or anything crazy like that, or at least we shouldn't. I'm sure if Skylar was here, he would still.
Rep Skylar, man.
You know, he's been laddering recently. He has been laddering.
Yes.
But, yeah, just both players kind of powering on up here. Like, no early pushes, no early aggression.
Yeah, we're actually seeing a macro game. Well, I guess we were seeing macro games, so, you know what I mean. We're actually seeing an economic focus game.
Yeah, and what's important is that the Banshee will finally spot all these Colossus, so now Piglet is aware, okay, maybe I should be switching into some Vikings now. I'm just rounding out my last couple of Metavacs. We'll see if he does end up switching to either Vikings or Liberators to help out with all these Colossus.
That'll be useful. Although typically you do see Vikings first, as they're a little bit cheaper. They don't have to rely on an upgrade to get the damage down.
Exactly. Meanwhile, Piglet
that you're going to get Ghost first,
as he always does. You know, it's not a TvP with Piglet unless he doesn't get Ghost, mate.
Yeah, trying to fight up a ramp right now. Beautiful force fields coming out from Pezz.
Yeah, it does kind of plug up that area. Doesn't allow Piglet to really chase him down or anything like that. Pezz playing so risky here with a quite small army, but I guess confident in his ability not to get surrounded.
Yeah, which is usually, I would say, pretty overconfident when you're going up against Piglet. But yeah, for now he is able to make sure that he's not caught off guard. He is able to make sure that he is only forcing Piglet from coming in from a single angle.
Yeah, like, I'm always so nervous when this happens, just because, like, if an engagement does happen when you don't have your War Prism, it's like, oh my god, we've seen them fall in their face. But thankfully, Pezz's War Prism is finally here, so he can macro his Colossus.
Slowly but surely. This Observer is the absolute key right now for Pezz. It's how he has eyes on the army. It's making sure that he doesn't get caught with his pants down.
Yeah. Without his pants.
Yeah, without his pants.
Yeah, he's just trying to find a way. And as all this is happening, he is saturating his fourth base. So really what he's doing is he's just keeping his opponent at home. I don't think he really ever wants to fight this, especially into siege tanks, obviously. He's just making sure that Piglet doesn't move out so that Pezz can get fully saturated. And so far, it's been working.
Yeah, nobody in their right mind should want to fight this. And as you were saying, Pezz is utilizing all of this time that he's containing Piglet to getting his fourth base up and running, rounding up his tech. We got the Templar Archives coming down, and even a cheeky warp in to the main base.
Yeah, a couple of Zealots do go in, 6 SCVs go down, not the biggest of deals, but, you know, they do get cleaned up, and again, it's just that much more keeping Piglet at home. Meanwhile, Scan's trying to find that army. Pezz not too far behind here in the middle of the map, and as all this was happening, now we have a Templar Archives. We even have a Dark Shrine on the way.
Yeah, boy, we're feeling it.
You're like, finally!
Get the Fear Dragon representation.
Oh boy. And yeah, well, I mean, you know, we were talking before about, like, you were like, yo, are we gonna get into a game where Piglet just turtles? And we kind of are getting that a little bit here.
Involuntarily, though.
True,
Piglet,
true.
Yeah. It's something he was kind of forced to do.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that he hasn't tried to go for any drops or anything like that either. He's just still here, just rotating here with the army. The Viking count has slowly been getting higher.
Yeah, pretty soon he's going to be able to take it to these Colossus. Nice EMP. Shaving off the health of 2 of them, and yeah, it doesn't take too many more of these EMPs to just completely erase half the health of the army. Yeah,
but again, like Pezz, he's not interested in fighting. He takes a 5th base. You know, he's just he's just chilling back at home, working on more upgrades.
Not a fighter.
Yeah, diversifying his splash damage, getting the disruptors out, gets a free tank.
Very good zoning on that disruptor, but it is only a single disruptor. So now Piglet's feeling confident enough to push all the way in. He does have... he is just about maxed out, and he does have plenty of Vikings and Ghosts on him. But those are some even better force fields coming up from Pezz.
Yeah, the force fields once again keep the army back. Honestly, they were pretty important. If it wasn't for those force fields, Pezz may have just lost every single one of his Colossus, so he has to be so careful right now. He's kind of just dancing with his opponent, and if at any moment, like, he has to be careful not to slip.
Now trying to come in. A single ghost gets taken out here, so not the worst result in the world for Piglet, but you know, it's definitely something for that will stack up a little bit for Pezz.
Exactly, and now Pezz has Disruptor, so he can now use that to zone away his opponents. He actually wants to get some shots off.
Not quite able to get it, but at least he'll be able to take out the tank. Finally, that observer goes down.
Mate, you say there's another one here, by the way. It's all good. It's all good.
Nice split cover out here from Piglet, and yeah, I'm kind of surprised that Piglet hasn't been too aggressive here. And what I mean by that is he hasn't, you know, really been trying to go for full 180 surrounds.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it earlier. Like, there's been no drops either. We do see some EMPs here on the Zealots, but the Novas go off. Oh god!
And they go off at so many of the ghosts. But it looks like there's just enough DPS here for Piglet to break on through. Another very good Purification Nova. But I think Piglet may have just about done it. He's dealt with the Colossus. He's dealt with the majority of the Disruptors. And now, this was a pretty decent fight.
Hey,
but in the end, they trade about evenly.
I don't know how he does it. He took like 3 Disruptor shots to the face there. Like, unironically. But he was able to just power on through anyway. The Vikings cleaned up all the Colossus. He was able to focus down the remainder of those Disruptors. There just wasn't enough of a buffer remaining there. And I feel like Piglet just came out on top. It takes so long to replenish your Robo units as a Protoss.
Yeah, Pezz may have the money to replenish his units, but does he have the time? We'll see. We shall definitely see. Piglet, as you were mentioning earlier on, not going for too many drops. It's not really applying much pressure on the bases of Pezz. So as long as Piglet gives Pezz time, he will be able to remax on a very effective army.
Yeah, what I will say is that, I mean, right now there shouldn't be too much of a reason for Piglet not to move out, just because after a decisive fight like that, he doesn't have any kind of major army keeping him back at home. But I guess he wasn't feeling too confident with his overall army supply, so he's just waiting here at home, maxing out once again before he moves out.
Just rounding up his forces. He has eyes on where the army's at, so he knows where he wants to either avoid, or if he has to engage, how he wants to engage.
Yeah, he does end up avoiding that Zealot. He actually has just a straight path straight towards the third base.
He does, doesn't he? He ain't taking it, but he has that path.
Yeah, he's just checking here. Meanwhile, Pezz also rotating around, does get spotted by the sensor towers.
And the name of the game right now for Piglet is he wants to win another big engagement. He doesn't want, which makes sense, you know, if there is a whatchamacallit, base trade, he doesn't have recall. Nice pick off on a High Templar.
Yeah, 2 High Templar go down in the process. Oof. Now, mate, the concave is being set up. Pezz, I don't know if you want to really push into this ramp. Oh god!
Well, he wants to. I'm not sure if it's a wise choice. No. Disrupt is doing a lot to pull back doing a lot to zone out the rest of the army, but yeah, when it's all said and done, I do think Piglet had the favorable trade there.
He did to begin with, but the army, oh my god, it's left a little bit idle. The moment goes off!
And it takes out a massive chunk of the bio. The Vikings, though, have been able to deal with the Colossus, and now all of them are starting to land. Is zoning out the Disruptors, and the Chargelets are getting kited pretty dang well.
Mate, that was a massive mistake there by Piglet. He loses almost every single one of those Vikings for free. He left his army just like on the bottom of the ramp there as well. Took a massive disruption up to the face. Now is the moment for Pezz.
Oh! Decent split, but not good enough to follow up Nova. Is even better here for Pezz. GG, we're getting our ace match.
GG, well played. We are indeed going into our ace match. I was so concerned there, but Piglet was being incredibly passive. You know, even after winning big engagements, he was just chilling at home. I don't think his army ever moved out across the map after, like, past the halfway point. I don't believe. Maybe just the Widowmine drop at the start of the game. Pretty much. Yeah.
Which, again, I feel like it definitely feels like whenever Piglet is, for whatever reason, Piglet is a little bit scared today.
Yeah.
Just not as decisive as we normally see him play in a TvP. And now, we'll see if that changes, as we are going to conclude not just this qualifying match, but the entire closed qualifiers for Oceania Rest of Asia regional event for DreamHack Valencia.
Yeah, mate. I'll be honest, I have to wonder if Ranger's series scarred him. I don't know if maybe Piglet was just overly aggressive against Ranger. Yeah. Like maybe Piglet was just you know, being too much like Beyond, you know, and just being too aggressive, and it cost him the series, and now he's trying to make up for that.
Give us the updates there, Ranger. I see you in the chat. Give us the updates if you can, as we load in to Berlingrad LE, where we will be concluding. No, don't go. Our best of 5 qualifying match here. In the top left-hand corner map, starting all the way in the top left-hand corner, we have the purple Protoss player, the killer of doggos here. Spawning in the top left-hand corner, he is going to be representing himself, Clandlix, and old mate Chappie. Look at him having a good time over there. He is Pezz.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Berlingrad LE, we have the Australian Terran player himself representing Opus V, most recent ANZ champ. Can he pull it off? Can he make it all the way to the qualifier? He came in as a favorite, Yaku. Oh boy, but this is it. This is his last chance. It is Piglet.
Still absolutely insane to me that one of these players isn't going to make it.
Yeah, it's so sad. Funada, this. I mean, I don't know if I can Funada the seeding. You know, like Ender knocked Pezz down. You know, Piglet fumbled against Ranger. Like, just everyone else was just on fire. You know.
Yeah, pretty much. Of course, it does mean that we're gonna have to keep our eyes on these on fire C players, especially Ranger, who. It's not just him saying it, but a lot of other people who were kind of watching on the sidelines, and a lot of people who were his opponents here is saying, "Yo, Ranger's on fire." The return of the 6K Ranger.
Yeah. Oh god. Again, I remember him peaking when he went to Korea. I know a lot of people forget that, but Ranger was in Korea in the foreigner team house as well, practicing, training with everyone back in the day. Really on fire back then as well, and maybe he's back in form. I would love to see some more Ranger play, and we're going to get it in the main event.
We really are. And I have a feeling that he's going to have to go up against one of these players, depending entirely on who qualifies.
Oh boy.
So far we've seen very similar openings for both players. They don't want to risk it all on the ace match.
Yeah, I can see some people in the chat saying, you know, I remember that sick game on Blackburn. It was Piglet versus, it may have been Pezz or maybe it been Probe in the previous season, where he lost the game just purely off of one Nova. And that's the thing, right? We were talking about it before. Like Piglet, like he either looks absolutely insane and cracked, just like focusing down disruptors and splitting and looking amazing, but all it takes sometimes is one Nova to go off, and that's it, you know. It's over.
It is a great equalizer. All it takes. Getting some updates here from Ranger. Turns out he was playing. Turns out that it wasn't his play that scarred Piglet. Piglet just decided to play very passively.
So yeah, he's just been that way.
Style choice.
Yeah.
we have to go further back. Like, we have to figure out what happened to Piglet yesterday.
We have to find out what happened in his childhood. What did Pig do?
Exactly. We gotta phone up Jared, the whole make Jared.
The hell did Jared?
Like,
what'd you do to your brother, man?
We're like, I don't know.
It's like I played against him in Brood War. I played Protoss, and I just scarred him for life. Oh god. But yeah.
Like I forced him to play random.
I mean, what's important is that despite him being relatively passive, especially in that last game, like, you know, we're still in the ace match. He has been able to fight back anyway, and just how it's like, all it takes is for one Nova to hit for Pezz to come out on top. All it takes is for Piglet to kill that disruptor for the Nova lands, you know? Like,
I thought you were going to say all it takes is for one Widow Mine to erase a mineral line of probes.
Man, why do you want that to happen so much, mate? What's...
You know exactly why I want that to happen. This is my MO. This is me living vicariously through Piglet. Being like, look, if Piglet can do it, so can I.
Oh boy, meanwhile the Widowmine drop does land here in the main and natural. Once again, only a single probe going down. For each.
Oh, mine? No, the mine should go down.
It will eventually be cleaned up. Pezz was a little bit more focused on taking down the medevac, but the medevac does barely survive.
And it's just going to build up its energy. There's going to be one more medevac for Piglet to utilize when he eventually does push. This is a lot more Santa coming out from him. We have a Raven this time instead of any Banshees. And Pezz, once again, going for the Robo Bay.
Yeah, I kind of like this from Pezz. You know, again, just playing a much more standard style. Going for the Robotics Bay, going for Colossus, going for Disruptors. I mean, hey, it worked in the previous game, and it was enough to really scare Piglet. More so than we've seen in any other game in the series.
And we'll see if that continues right now, as the timing may be a little bit off here for Pezz if he does want to go across the map. Piglet is building up for another very potent two-base timing, and Pezz this time is going to be the defender.
Yeah, exactly. I think the most important part is that Pezz did just lose an observer that was outside the base, so he hasn't really been able to see too much here. I'm a little bit concerned. He hasn't been able to go into the main base, so he's going to have that much less vision for this push.
Yeah, that's why he needs to keep these stalkers over here to make sure that he can't catch the army as it's pushing out. Piglet, because he did save his medevac from earlier on, he does not really have to wait for the additional medevacs to finish up. He is feeling it right now. Stim about to finish up. Combat shield not too far behind. Oh, but the Raven gets sniped, and that is massive, considering the fact that Pezz is going for Colossus. That's, you're kind of hoping to be able to disable the Colossus before the fight happens, and that's just not going to be the case this time.
And speaking of, here we go, the Colossus has arrived. Pezz has more than enough to deflect this army, and Piglet is aware of that, so now he's like, hey, you know what? Medevacs, they can drop. I wish I remember that last game. Oh, yeah, true.
He's making full use of the medevacs. Now, Pezz did get eyes on this from his observer earlier on. Again, another reason why sniping that Raven was so crucial.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, the drop in the main base does get deflected. At the same time, Piglet was also trying to push towards that third base, but once again, Pezz in position.
Yeah, Colossus is one of the best defensive units you can get against Harem Bio. At least at this stage of the game.
Yeah, exactly, and the gateway units as well. So, just like that, all that early aggression from Piglet gets deflected. He's forced all the way back home. Thankfully, he already had a third on the way on location, and we can move on from here.
Yep, so he's not going to be pulling the boys. We are going to be getting a bit of a longer one.
Yeah, already starting on that Viking transition as well to help deal with all those Colossus. Quickly checking. Okay, we do have extended thermal lance for Pezz. We have seen a couple of players during DreamHack not go for it or forget it, but Pezz is not one of them.
Yeah, very diligent with getting his upgrades up and running. Getting fourth base up and running as well, so as long as that can be a target for Piglet if he is aware, but if he isn't, then Pezz is just about to explode when it comes to the income.
Yeah, exactly. Fourth base on the way, double upgrades on the way as well for 1-1 for all of his charge lots. Yeah, it's great to see him kind of incorporate his Swarm Toss style, but also still securing himself in the early game with the Colossus first to make sure he survives until that point.
But I'm still kind of worried for him a little bit. I'm looking at the army Piglet is building up right now, and thankfully Pezz has finished up his Templar Archives. He is getting a couple of Archons right now, so he is rounding off his AoE. But we got Ghosts on the way, man.
I mean,
it's having had shockwaves.
It's Piglet. It'll be a weird game if we don't have Ghosts. So the Ghosts are coming out here. The upgrades are going to finish up by the time the army gets across the map, as he is on the way. Thankfully, Pezz is looking to try and meet him here at the choke point, force a siege.
And the siege is forced, but it is only one tank, so yeah, not the scariest thing in the world right now. Yeah, Piglet setting up for a concave. This is the Piglet I know and love.
Yeah, exactly. At the same time, Pezz is sending a force of Zealots across the map to harass that third base, or that natural. Meanwhile, Piglet dealing with these rocks, he's going to be able to force his way through here. Those choke points are no longer there.
Well, he's going to try to force his way through. I'm sure if he'll be able to get it. Nice EMPs over here on the Zealots. A little bit over EMP'd. I think he actually EMP'd his own orbital command there as well. I got caught up in that.
Just a bit.
And Piglet is retreating? Okay, he's rotating. He's not retreating. He's rotating.
Yeah, he gives up the higher grounds to Pezz. Ooh, he thought he could find maybe an angle there, but the EMPs do connect with those zealots.
And they immediately get taken out. Pezz does have that warp prism, so he's going to be warping in on the fly. But now in this open ground, without zealots, it actually favors the Terran player. Piglet pushing in, his Vikings are dealing with the Colossus, and the rest of the ground army is dealing with the gateway units of Pezz. This is just about going to be it. This is the Piglet that we were missing, like.
Man, I'm getting deja vu with a very similar thing happening in qualifier number 1. Pezz, he saw the army, he went for it, maybe thinking, yo, it's on siege, but it was only one tank, and you mentioned it as it was happening. You don't want to be fighting in the open ground like that against a Terran.
Yeah, not unless you're able to out-surround Terran.
Yeah.
It's difficult to do when your opponent is up 70 army supply. Once again, he's just not pushing in. He deleted a very high-tech Protoss army, and he's just posturing outside.
I mean, I think that's fine. I mean, Piglet, he's still so much far ahead. I mean, sure, there's a lot of supply in Vikings that aren't really doing too much, but I mean, he can just land them, and there we go. He's going for it, but the Novas are coming out.
And he has to split. Oh, almost a little bit of friendly fire there, and the Vikings do just get deleted by the Purification Novas. So it's still pushing in, though. He still has the very, very massive army advantage. And as long as he's able to reinforce this, which is very easy to do on Berlingrad, he should have this game.
Yeah, exactly. He overwhelms everything that Pezz has. He has a single disruptor remaining here. That is it. It goes off, does get a Marauder, but alas, he will have to give up his third base. There's just nothing to stop Piglet.
Nothing whatsoever.
Yeah, Pezz is trying to. He comes in with his army, but no, the disruptor gets focused down.
It's looking so exposed now that the Stalkers have blinked backwards, and with this, Pezz is going to keep holding on. This is his tournament life on the line, not just in this bracket, but also in DreamHack in general. Massive cancel the warp ins, and that should just about be game.
Yeah, that is going to be it. Unfortunately, Pezz doesn't really have much of anything. He's not going for a run by. GG gets called, and Piglet takes the series 3-2, and he will qualify for DreamHack Valencia Oceania main event.
Nicely done here for Piglet. Yeah, definitely seems like a little bit of a strange decision the way he's been playing today, but it worked out very well in the end. He will have, of course, if he wants to continue with this more passive style, he does have a full week to keep refining that, as Piglet will be the final player qualifying for DreamHack Masters Valencia Oceania Reservation main regional event.
GG, mate, I was getting so much deja vu this game. I don't know if you remember this. We have been casting a lot of StarCraft, but on Friday in the first qualifier, the qualifying match that we casted, Piglet versus Pezz was the thing, and they played on Berlingrad in the ace match. Oh no, it was actually, to be fair, I think it was game 4. I think it was game 4 that they played, and very similarly, you know,
that wasn't,
yeah, Pezz, he was there, he was posturing, he was trying to keep Piglet from getting past the halfway mark at where those rocks were. But as soon as Piglet would get through, like,
yeah,
that's when, like, you know, that's
all ogre.
Exactly, like trying to fight without that, you know, getting your Colossus surrounded like that, it's so difficult to really overcome that positional disadvantage that you have as a Protoss. GG.
And with that, we are confirmed over in the bracket. The 4 players qualifying today will be Piglet, Ranger, Risky, and Ender, going up to face T-Bull, Probe, Miomika, and Seether.
There you go. You can see it on the screen, people. I know that it may not be the most updated screen, but on the left, you can see the players that were invited to the main event. They are waiting for the players who just qualified through the closed qualifiers. And again, that will all be happening over at ESL_Australia. It's going to be casted by, of course, the Australian casters you know and love. Pig and Maynard are going to be all over that. No. God, no. Yaku, please.
Like you said, we know and love.
And it's going to be crazy, man. It's going to be crazy. Oh, my God. Miomika has been sitting there in the chat watching the entire time. Ranger has been popping off. Risky apparently popping off. Ender not dropping a single map today. Oh my god.
I just realized that, yeah. He had the perfect run today, and it feels like DreamHack winter once again. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We will see nonetheless. Meanwhile, we will also be there for that main event, just the B stream as we usually are.
Always there, trying to provide as much coverage for every single one of these matches. All of the matches, as long as they're played out, will be casted either on the A stream or the B stream. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Definitely want to stay tuned for that.
Definitely.
These are the best of the best.
Yeah, as the DreamHack closed qualifiers are all coming to an end. You know, we've already had a couple of them today. Yeah, we're getting the rest of them over the nenext couple of days as well. Next 24 hours, actually. Speaking of DreamHack, China closed qualifier is in 2 hours and 15 minutes, starting just before World Team League. So if you want some more StarCraft tonight, there's plenty of it coming at you. And Yaku, we're going to be there for the Chinese closed qualifiers.
We are. We're going to have to close the game and then go through the whole process, get our visas collected, and reinstall the Chinese client. Hopefully I actually do it right this time.
I don't think you understand how to access the China. We're going to have a talk after this.
Yes.
God damn it, Yaku.
I'm going to need that talk.
Yes.
The instructions. I'm going to need it to be repeated to me for the 8th or 9th time.
Oh boy. Every year, mate. Every season, actually. But regardless, yeah, again, we do have plenty more StarCraft ahead of us. Tonight, in 7 hours, are the DreamHack European closed qualifiers. We will not be covering that. We will be asleep at the time. But I'm sure that'll be covered by...
I'll be trying to sleep.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll be covered by Rotterdam and Wardy. Rotterdam, Wardy, and maybe some of the other European-based casters as well.
Yeah. Maybe Zombie Grub. I know that she covered a bunch of the EU qualifiers last season.
Yeah. I don't know if Zombie Grub's doing anything special because of her birthday.
Oh, true.
I just realized today's Roddy's birthday as well.
It's Roddy's birthday, yeah.
Oh my god.
All right, it's all on you, Wardy.
It's all on you, Wardy. It's all on you. So I don't know if they're doing anything special for their birthday, so they may not cover it. They may be having something else going on. I don't know.
Special stream,
special maybe drunk stream. I don't know. But regardless, there will be English casters. It will be covered.
That they shall. You can be assured of that. There is going to be coverage for every single qualifier. If not by us, then by someone else. But I think we may be the only ones with Chinese accounts.
Yeah. We usually are the only ones covering China. So, yeah, with that, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Massive shout-outs to the players who qualified as well. Again, it's been a wild week of StarCraft, period.
It's been a wild week, and been a pretty long time since we've been able to see some of these players qualify for a main event as well. So always want to keep our eyes on them. But with that, I think that's we're going to be coming back in about 2 hours.
Yeah. I also want to I also want to ask everyone to give some love to some of the players who didn't make it through today. I know a lot of them were in the chat. Players like Pezz, Demi as well, Starduck, Raza. Like a lot of them have been working really hard, have been training really hard for this, and it can be really rough losing here in the close qualifiers. At least they do make some money. That's like a bit of the upside about it. But they all wanted to be a part of that main event. So yeah, I hope you're able to give them some love.
They make some money, but not as much as they could have.
Yeah. It's not about the money. It's about exposure. It's about it's about performing and competing and being
able to compete.
Yeah. Exactly, and proving that you're one of the best of the best, right? Like Pezz, he came so close, all the way to the ace match. Like one more game.
Momento. And of course, we want to give a shout out to all of the raids and all of the gift subs that were happening earlier today. Massive shout out to Lord Loken for those gift subs, Biomolf, Steadfast, Vindicta, old Miguel for all them raids. Hope everybody who came from those streams enjoyed the time here.
Definitely.
Over in the close qualifiers.
Yeah. I also want to apologize as well because we're nearing the end of the DreamHack week, and we have been casting multiple times a day, every day for the past week, so we're not at like peak performance. I know that we can both admit. Yeah, we can both admit to that. Even Kuro this morning, because I was casting DreamHack NA with Kuro, and she's like, I think we were reaching our last series, and she's like, mate, my brain is potato right now, and I'm like, no, we're almost done, Kuro, we're almost done. Oh god,
we're on the home stretch.
Yeah. So
it's on the horizon.
It has been a bit of a marathon for us here at the CranKy Ducklings, but we're still going. We're almost, the finish line is in sight. It's in sight. We have 2 more DreamHack broadcasts to go, China and then Latin America tomorrow. Yeah. So and then we can finally end it. We can
end it all, mate. Well, for a week we can end it.
Yeah, the sweet embrace of death can take us, and we'll be happy.
For a week.
For a week, and then the DreamHack main event comes back. Ains of Champs comes back. We have to do it all over again.
Getting the hot sixes ready, the Dare Ice coffees ready, everything ready. It's oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, I've already got my fridge stacked with Dare Ice coffee. Hashtag not sponsored. Not sponsored.
I've stacked my fridge with Chilsung cider, but then I found out that it doesn't have as much caffeine, so I'm gonna need to get something. I'm gonna need to get something
Oh, good.
For the week ahead.
Yeah. Regardless, thank you so much, everyone, for the support and for watching. Yaku, do you have anything you want to add? You know, before we head off, what's going on? What's going on in the land of Yaku?
Hunger. That's going on. Gonna very quickly eat in between the break, and then we will be back, and I gotta try to figure out how to install the client.
Yes. That is, of course, the Chinese client will be there shortly. Meanwhile, thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you want to tune into more of the CranKy Ducklings, we are all over the social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Discord. Check out our YouTube channel, because all of the VODs for all the qualifiers that we've been casting are going to be uploaded to our YouTube channel starting tomorrow. And there's a lot of VODs. There's been a lot of StarCraft, and I know that, you know, now the qualifiers are over and we know who made it through, but don't you want to see the road of all these players? And despite that, like, we still had some insane games going on this past week. Even this morning, you know, Antis versus Binsky. Antis versus Binsky was something special. What it was my mind was being blown. Like, every game. It was it was a crazy series. It deserves to be watched by everyone. I highly recommend it.
Really
highly recommend it.
Yeah, that's the thing about some of these players. You know, they're not always able to make it to the main events. They don't get as much exposure on them, as much coverage on them, but it is a bit of a shame, because more often than not, they have very distinct styles that you're always going to want to watch, and that's what these that's one of the best things about these qualifiers.
Yeah, as a teaser, by the way, for Antis versus Binsky, Antis, game 1, went for 4 hatch, gas, before pool.
4 hatch?
4 hatch! 4 hatch! Yaku. I've never seen it before. I've never seen it. 4 hatch, gas before pool.
4?
And an Evo chamber. Connect the dots. You can imagine what happened. You can imagine what that was for. You can imagine what happened. It was crazy. It was crazy. Oh my god. Antis went full NA this morning, mate. Full NA.
Really did.
Good
lord.
But yeah. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Thank you so much for the support. We will see you guys in 2 hours.
Yeah, very, very soon. So, drain your disruptors, grab a snack, hydrate your hydras. We'll be back soon.
Yes. Ciao.
Bella.